All right, the Phillies, to wrap things up, they're at $234 million estimated right now.
Oh,
They're
shit.
$3 million shy of the CBT. They're going to blow by this number. I feel it very strongly. Moves so far. They have lost Rhys Hoskins, Craig Kimbrell, Michael Lorenzen, and RIP to the Phillies' tenure of Scott Kingery. But they have re-signed Aaron Nola to 7 for $172 million. After that, they extended Rob Thompson, and they signed Jose Ruiz on a minor league free agent deal. So it's been Nola, and they lost Hoskins, Kimbrel, Lorenzen, and Kingery. Catching duo, JT Realmuto and Garrett Stubbs. You're good. You get the vibes guys, the backup catcher. That's what everybody wants, right?
Move on. Garrett Stubbs. He's like low-key a leader of this team.
Yeah. First base, Bryce Harper. That's fine. Are we adding?
Yeah, Bryce Harper's pretty good. No, we'll stay.
Got you. Second base, Bryson Stott. Edmundo Sosa is his backup. Third base, Alec Bohm. Sosa is his backup. Shortstop, Trey Turner. Rodolfo Castro is his backup. I'm good. Anything else?
There's
left field.
Yeah, there's
Brandon
one
Marsh.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was just going to say there's one move this team has to make.
Yeah. Outfield, Brandon Marsh in left, Johan Rojas in center, Nick Castellanos in right. The fourth outfield options, Christian Pache, Jay Cave, Weston Wilson, Simone Muzziotti.
You found the one issue here. We reached it. Center field. I like Rojas. I think he's an elite defender. I don't think he can hit enough for a World Series contender. And I think we saw that in the postseason where he was almost an auto out. And it was a big problem for them. Either you could do two things here. I think and I'm identifying center field. I don't think you do anything else there in the lineup. You either move Brandon Marsh to center field again and have him play there more consistently, because in his 867 innings last year in center field, he was 4 outs above average. Really, really solid defender there. Obviously, even better in a corner through stretches. But I think he's arguably could be better in center just with the reads that he gets. So you put Marsh in center, makes it a little bit easier to go find a corner guy, and maybe just go find a corner guy, unless you want to roll with Jake Cave or whoever. But I think that's the one spot, if you really wanted to push the offense over the top, is find a corner guy, because I do think that Rojas has the potential to be a pretty big gaping hole offensively, if he is not able to improve at all from what we saw down the stretch in the postseason last year, even though he was standing on his head for, I think, the beginning of his big league debut.
And we should mention that Schwarber is the DH. Like, I don't have the DH allotted in here, but Schwarber is the everyday DH. There's one corner outfielder. Yeah, Peter, I know. Are we going to make this Instagram troll a reality or what?
This move is staring all of us right in the face.
Yeah.
Dave Dombrowski, get on the phone. Call up Perry Manassian. What is it going to take for Mike Trout to bring him to Philly? Of course, that's the move staring us all in the face.
No,
of course,
it's not.
It wasn't staring me.
It's staring me right in the face. The Philly guy, the Eagles fan, Mike Trout wants to get out of Los Angeles. You call up. I know it's a ton of money. We got to figure out how to do it, but we got to get Mike Trout in center field for the Philadelphia Phillies. Pair him with Bryce Harper. After the Dodgers are going after Ohtani, you want to win a World Series, go get Mike Trout.
Well, unfortunately, they said they're not trading him. And
yeah, they say they're not trading him.
Mike Trout's also never said he doesn't want to be there.
You got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone and see what it would take.
No,
bro,
acting like this is
Jock
Peterson.
And that just won't happen.
You call Jock Peterson and you call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do that. I think that the move to make the Phillies the World Series contender along with the Dodgers is you go trade Mike Trout, and they have the prospects in order to do it.
Brother, they're already a World Series contender.
Yeah, no, they are a World Series contender, but I think the Mike Trout move puts them over the top here.
Is this Trout thought or Ellie thought? The dumbest thing Peter said on the show.
How is trading for Mike Trout when they need a center fielder?
Well, because it's fairy tale.
I mean, if Mike Trout is ever going to leave, like, I haven't brought up Mike Trout on any other team, this is the fit if he were to get traded. Absolutely.
And the reasoning is go Birds.
What did you say?
Told us he's not.
I think if they got the right offer, I think it would make sense.
What's the right offer?
Do you guys want to workshop through it, or you guys both hate it? I mean, if you both hate it and you
I don't
can't
think they
even
can
picture it, then why even talk about it?
Well, they apparently made an offer for Yoshinobu Yamamoto as well, according to Matt Gelb. And
yeah,
if that's the case, then their priority seems to be committing whatever money that they have available to the pitching side of things.
yeah.
And I do think that's a really tough financial obligation to take on. With Mike Trout on the decline, struggling to stay healthy, you're going to still have to give up prospects to pry him away from a team that has been very adamant that they don't want to trade him. The Angels have said themselves that they want to add for whatever godforsaken reason. So if you're going to have to give up really good pitching prospects to pry him away just to inherit a contract that could handcuff you for the next decade, I don't see it. I don't see it being feasible, especially if they're tipping their hand by apparently wanting to invest whatever money that they have available into pitching with the reported offer to Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
The way I read into it is that if they have the money in order to get a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, they probably don't get him. But if they're thinking that they have the money to do so, at least pick up the phone. I'm not saying that they're going to do it. I'm not saying that, for example, when we floated the Garrett Mitchell for, the second baseman, why am I forgetting his name? Nick Gonzalez. When we floated that trade, that makes sense. We could easily do so. I'm here to say that a Dave Dombrowski type move, trading the farm system in order to get Mike Trout, in order to win a World Series in the next couple of years, feels like the most Phillies move. They need a center fielder. He's a Philly guy.
Is he even a center fielder that he maybe plays left?
Maybe you put Marsh then in center, and then you could put Trout left.
Yeah.
Just feels like the perfect move. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but that move, like I said, is staring me directly in the face. Just makes the most sense in the world. And it would be such a Phillies move. It'd be such a Dombrowski move to then trade these pitching prospects, pay the money if they have the money in order to get a Yamamoto anyway. I'm looking at their rotation right now. I feel like they could roll into 2024 with this rotation, and this is the move. This is the move.
They can't take that contract.
Why don't we just speak it into existence? Don't we want it also? Don't we want Trout on the Phillies? Doesn't that just sound awesome?
Not really. I want Trout and Ohtani on the same team.
Come on. Doesn't that sound awesome, guys? You're ruining my mood.
Can I throw you one? It sounds awesome.
Probably not.
It sounds awesome. Sounds great, Peter. Thank you.
Let
me just say, I think that money is unattainable for the Philadelphia Phillies. Like $40 million a year. What's Trout owed this coming year? Is it 40? It's like high 30s or 40.
Maybe they give up less prospects in order for the Angels to take on some of that money.
But the way that I kind of view it, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, if they clearly want to put the money towards pitching, though, like you're strapping yourself now for the next 10 years and this year, and you can't make the additions to the staff that you want to make. I think the offense is already great. I think the move that they need to make to put them over the top is making that staff an elite pitching staff. I think this offense is still one of the best in baseball. If you just plug the leak that is the one spot in their lineup, which is the 9 hole, and not take on $35.4 million until 2030 with a full no trade clause that would just absolutely hold them hostage, when they also were just talking about potentially discussing an extension with Bryce Harper and wanting to commit that money towards just keeping Harper as long as humanly possible.
We are kind of acting like Mike Trout is chopped liver.
He's 32. He can't stay healthy over the last couple of years. Why would you take on that contract? I don't think that contract is desirable for really anybody.
Do you know how many guys in Philly around the bars are going to have Trout Phillies jerseys? They'll make that money back.
So many.
The Ohtani, how he sold like 700 trillion jerseys? I bet Trout said half that. They're going to get some money back on Mike Trout. That makes so much sense, guys. You're ruining my mood.
Left field. Who are some other left field options?
All right. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm just looking at some options around the American League because I feel like no National League team wants to trade with one of the best teams in the National League, personally. I think the higher you get in your respective league, the less teams in that league want to interact with you, to be totally honest. Because, which NL team wants to make a deal with the Atlanta Braves right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, nobody really.
like next to nobody. So I'm
I
looking
do
at
like Travis Jankowski. I know I've kind of floated him for a lot of teams. Like, I think he'd be a valuable player for them to
you
add.
could
Like, I
do
think
it,
that's
or
an
like a
easy guy.
Robbie Grossman. I
True.
think that
Someone like
type of
that.
guy could make sense.
Yeah.
I think if they do want to spend a decent bit of money, Jock Peterson on a 2-year deal like fits that vibe to a T.
You could also go
So
get Eddie Rosario.
like if you want.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of like just stopgap options. But my eyes do gravitate towards the pitching staff. I will say the bullpen, I'm not touching. This bullpen's one of the best in baseball.
Yeah.
With Alvarado, Anthony, Kirkering in a full year, Soto, Jeff Hoffman, who throws 98 now, Strom, Bellotti, Connor Brogdon. There are so many guys that you can just throw out there. The
And
rotation is interesting. I think you had Christopher Sanchez in a hybrid role, but the rotation is Wheeler Nola at the top, Ranger and Taiwan Walker, who you already commit to. Peter, you had a quick thought.
no, I was just going to say the bullpen did upgrade by losing Craig Kimbrell. It's an upgrade.
Yeah, they kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of did.
That is fair.
Do you go big? Do you go big fish hunting with this? Like, do you look at a Snell and it's like, we want him, a Montgomery, and it's like, we want him?
Oh, so now we have money.
Well,
They've got money. They don't have 40 a year.
half and half the duration.
I want Mike Trout on the Phillies, but we could have more rational thoughts, but I want it.
I think you do. I think you. Or we talked about it in the trade predictions. Dylan Cease. I think that trade makes a lot of sense too. And they can offer some McAble, and then you piece together some other options. I do think that could be a very intriguing option for them with 2 years of control that they could leverage and potentially extend instead of shelling out $1 trillion for any of these pitchers. Leverage those 2 years and try to extend Cease if you can. I do think they need one more impact arm. I like Wheeler a lot. Obviously, I like Nola. That's as good of a 1-2 punch you're going to find. Suarez is awesome. Don't trust Walker. Christopher Sanchez did outperform anything I reasonably could have expected from him. But I do think if they really want to win a World Series, I think they need one more impact arm there that they can have for several years now too. I like a trade for Cease, and I also like maybe signing one of those guys. If they put in an offer for Yamamoto, it seems like they are more keen on keeping the prospects and maybe going out and signing somebody. Obviously, I don't think they get Yamamoto, so do they pivot to another lefty? Do they pivot to like Imanaga maybe? Like what could they do? Is kind of the question.
Quick question before we keep building. Andrew Painter, Mick Abel, are they going to be able to contribute to the Phillies this season? Obviously, Painter coming in with that elbow thing. Mick Abel's a little bit young. I'm just curious if we should factor them in maybe at the All-Star break, something like that.
The thing about Painter is we kind of got fucked because his initial the initial plan for Painter at the beginning of the year was, rest is going to fix it. That delayed TJ by like 3 months, right, Arm? I think it was 2.5, 3 months where it was rest. Oh, shit. Now we got to go under the knife. So if Painter did get under the knife as soon as he went down, we could be penciling him in for an All-Star break return. I don't know if we can do that now. I don't even know if 2024 is in the cards.
And I love Abel's stuff, but I don't trust the command yet. You'd have to make a big leap command-wise. That's why I think it's a good time to maybe move him. I don't know if you can really factor either of those guys in for this year, which is an important thing to go over because, you don't have those reinforcements really waiting in the wings for you, pitching-wise.
So let's operate this rotation under the assumption that neither of them throws an inning in 2024. 2025, definitely, but just for this season. I think, Arm, you laid it out. I think we got to trade for Cease. They got the prospects in order to do it. You get that guy with some control. I feel like with their rotation right now, I agree. Like, I'm not a Taiwan Walker guy. Whatever Christopher Sanchez gives you, he gives you. But you can gamble a little bit with Dylan Cease. You already got the front three with Wheeler, Nolan, Suarez. You got them locked in. I think we gamble with Dylan Cease. I think this next part of the podcast is just what's the trade for him. I think that's the perfect fit.
Awesome. Because I would love to see him there too. Just throwing more meaningful innings. Jack, you tell me, what is Cease's value? Is Mick Abel and what? How much more in addition to Mick Abel, a 22-year-old righty, top 60 prospect for us at Just Baseball? How much more do the Phillies need to add to McAble to go get, a Dylan Cease with 2 years of control?
So I feel like I constantly underestimate the value of a lot of these guys. I think that when we're talking about some of the better players in baseball at a cheap price point, we always undershoot. And I don't want to undershoot right now. I'm going to overshoot, and you guys tell me to reel it in. Cease has 2 years of control left. ARB2, his estimate is about 8.3. You assume that ARB3 would be in the 12 to 14 range after that. So let's say you're getting him on 2 years, $21 million. What is 2 years, 21 mil of Dylan Cease cost? I think it's Abel. I think it's Justin Crawford. And I think it's a guy that can get ABs right now in Simone Muzziotti. So you get an arm and 2 outfielders. Do you do it?
I think that I would do it on both sides there. I think you nailed it.
Just another question. Who the hell is Carlos De La Cruz? 6'8", 210?
Yeah, he's
a monster for the Phillies in their system. I'm just going through the Phillies prospects. I was like, oh, I never heard of this guy. Wait a minute, 6'8", 210?
I saw him at the AFL, and I was baffled. I was absolutely yeah. I don't think that operation works contact wise. He's way too big. I don't even think they protect him in the Rule 5. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that works. I do think that works.
Don't you think the White Sox might want him? Like, just some size in that locker room?
Sure.
Another Eloy Jimenez guy?
You got to add him.
Yeah. What if the White Sox did say he's the kicker? I want the size.
Oh, man, it's like why Alvarez?
We need a power forward.
Yeah.
You want Yadi or Alvarez?
I think that's good.
I think it's good too. It sounds expensive, but it's not crazy.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Cease for Abel, Justin Crawford, and Simone Muzziotti.
And just for everybody coming in new, maybe you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, by the way. Jack is a White Sox fan. So he's coming to you, Phillies fans, with what he thinks it's fair. I think it's a fair deal all the way around.
I do too. Good job, Jack.
We just got Dylan Cease.
Thanks, guys.
So now let's transition how we get Mike Trout.
Do the merch thing.
Hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode of the Just Baseball Show and hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Get yourself some Just Baseball merch. Obviously, come on. It's in the episode description below. And if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to write a written review, whether that be on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars helps us out a ton. And like I said, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Come on. We're coming out with so much great content. It's tons of it. People are saying it's the greatest content in the world. Not us, but people. And I agree with those people. Jack, Aram, I'm Peter. We'll be back after the holiday. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. And with that, thank you, everybody.